Here at Unity, we greet you in the name of all that is beautiful and sacred, where we embrace all spiritual paths that teach love. Unity offers a positive path for spiritual living and welcomes people of every creed, color, ethnicity, age, socioeconomic background, sexual orientation, and people with disabilities. Unity leaves no one out. We also like to say that you are here not by accident, but by divine appointment, and we are so grateful that you kept your appointment with Spirit this morning.
Well, our humor this morning comes from the advertising world. You have to listen carefully on this first one because the first service didn't quite get it. Home, 199,500. Great location, 2/3 of an acre with 4 bedrooms, 2 bath, brick cape, built the way they used to. Won't last. For sale, bulldog, will eat anything, loves children. And my favorite, extremely independent male, 17 years old, needs room to rent. Call his mother at. Well, today's lesson is number 5 in our 7-part series about happiness from the inside out. And today we're looking at living a life inspired by purpose. The first idea that I want us to consider this morning is to find your passion. When you find your passion, nothing can stop you from being an incredible success and finding the happiness that your soul is searching for. William Barclay, the Scottish theologian, said, "There are 2 great days in a person's life. The day we are born and the day we discover why." How true. People who are deeply committed to what gives their life meaning are much happier, much healthier, and live longer than people who haven't found their place. Harris Interactive Research determined that only 20% of workers in the United States actually like their job. Isn't that about the saddest statistic you've ever heard? Only 20% of people in the United States actually love their work. That's why the most common time for a heart attack is Monday morning, because people are so dreading to go to work. And I can't imagine being in a situation like that. And yet surely there must be a lot of people who don't love what they're doing. And to me, that is the saddest thing, because from the minute I felt called, when I was 7 years old, I have been so happy and so joyful and so grateful to God for my passion of sharing the truth. And retirees, there's news about retirees as well. It has been reported that the happiest retirees are those who still feel a sense of purpose even after their career is over. These people often transfer their skills to another setting. A retired banker might volunteer at a job training center, or an employee who was always handy might become the neighborhood Mr. Fix-It. The important thing is to let your heart's purpose lead the way. Emily Cady in Lessons in Truth writes, "Loving, self-forgetting service is the shortest, the safest, and the surest way to God." And in the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus said, "The Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve." And when we are serving, we are most like God. Jane talks about her dad who loved being a dentist. That I can't quite understand. But he absolutely loved his job. He retired very reluctantly at the age of 72. He wanted to find a new outlet for his talents, so he analyzed what he loved about dentistry. It was that he loved working in intricate ways with his hands in ways he felt were artistic. So at age 72, she writes, Dad took up needlepoint and loved it. He became a master needlepoint artist, winning awards throughout California. And this next picture is of Rosie Greer, who is also a needlepoint artist. She says, I remember going home one day for a visit when he was about 85. He'd just begun the biggest and most intricate needlepoint project I've ever seen, a detailed depiction of the tree of life. I asked him, Dad, how long is this going to take you to finish? And he said, honey, I figure at the pace I'm going, it's going to take me about 4 years. Imagine an 85-year-old man beginning a 4-year-long project, but his passion for expressing his artistry gave him a strong sense of purpose. And he did complete that project. It was his greatest work of all. Today it hangs proudly on the wall of my mother's living room in the same house that my parents shared for 53 years. My dad taught me that feeling a sense of purpose allows you to bring joy and love to whatever it is you're doing. On his 80th birthday, Arturo Toscanini's son Walter was asked, what did his father think was his greatest accomplishment? And Walter answered, whatever he happens to be doing in the moment, whether it's conducting a symphony or peeling an orange. And isn't that the truth? The now moment is all we really have. And Albert Schweitzer, success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you are doing, you will be successful. And I want you to look closely on his hand as a little baby kitten. Can you see that? I love that picture. So number 1 is to find your passion. Number 2, follow the inspiration of the moment. Rhonda Byrne radiates happiness. She is the creator of the movie The Secret. She had a wonderful career in television and film. When she was going through a difficult time, her mother had passed away, and her dad was grieving in a way that she wasn't sure he would even come out of it. And her daughter gave her a New Thought book. She read the book, and she was on fire with a passion to share the ideas that we create our reality, that our thinking and the words we speak create the life we're living. So she gathered together some of her friends, and they created this wonderful movie, The Secret. And she had it all lined up. The television date it was going to start, and the date it was going to be in the movie theaters. And then the television deal fell through. And then the movie deal fell through. And The Secret became the first movie ever live streamed through the internet and all over the world within a 24-hour period. Because it was her passion, she didn't give up. She knew that these ideas were creative and powerful, and nothing was going to stop her. And that was the beginning of movies being streamed now, live streamed. If you grew up Catholic, as many of us did, perhaps you remember St. Teresa of Avila. She was one of the most beloved saints. And she wrote, the important thing is not to think much, but to love much. And so do that which best stirs you to love. And she taught that small steps can become something incredibly huge if we don't get discouraged along the way. A honeybee buzzing from one flower to the next isn't aware that it is cross-pollinating plants and making a life on earth possible. As far as it's concerned, it's just drawing nectar from one flower that will eventually be turned into honey. Buckminster Fuller used to describe this process with the term precession. It describes the phenomenon of a series of small steps leading to an astonishing, unforeseen conclusion. Well, those of you who know me well probably wouldn't think of me sitting studying the sports page of the Los Angeles Times. But this came from Wednesday's paper, and the headline caught me, Guiding Spirit. It's an article about Antonio Gates. He missed all of the off-season workouts so he and his family could be with his sister Pamela, who had been suffering from lupus for 3 years. And it says, the all-pro tight end beginning his 12th season with the San Diego Chargers reminisced about his 22-year-old sister Pam, who died last month after a 3-year battle with lupus. She had been in a coma for several weeks after suffering her second heart attack. Gates missed all the Chargers' off-season workouts so that he and his family could be at Pamela's bedside at the Cleveland Clinic. And he says, it changed me a whole lot in terms of communicating with my family, being involved more with my other siblings. And he said, he gave serious consideration to retiring during that time. It definitely crossed my mind, he said. It wasn't like I wanted to be done with football, but football was not the most important thing in my life anymore. I just felt like being there for my family was more important. So don't skip the sports page. You never know what you'll find. That brings us to number 3. Contribute to something greater than yourself. Another quote from Albert Schweitzer we're probably more familiar with. I don't know what your destiny will be, but one thing I do know, the only ones among you who will be really happy are those who have sought and found how to serve. The last story I share is about Lynn Twist, and if you're not familiar with her, she's written a book called The Soul of Money, and we have it in our bookstore. I'm not going to tell you her whole story because we're running a little late today because we've had lots of sharing, which is wonderful. But she and her husband were at the top of the success, material success that they could ever experience, when she felt a hunger to do something more important. And what that was a lofty goal to end hunger on earth by the year 2000. It was called the Hunger Project. And she didn't quite make it, but she made an incredible 50% reduction in those who die from starvation and hunger. And after that project, she also became inspired to work with the indigenous people of South America to preserve the rainforest, to create a new global vision of sustainability for all life. This is a woman who is called by purpose. She has found her passion, and she's contributing to something greater than herself. If you want to read her story, we have the book in the library, The Soul of Money. It isn't necessary to be a Mother Teresa or a Lynn Twist. You can make a difference living a life inspired by purpose. And this part of our service is called our Sacred Walk of Abundance. We believe in the power of giving and receiving, And so after we bless our gifts, we invite you to walk forward with your gift and with each step to give thanks for a blessing in your life. And when you come to the table on either side, please take a blessing, whether you have a gift to share with us or not. There's a blessing here for you. If you have a financial gift, place it in the plate there. And if you give through your bank or credit card, there's one of these plastic cards in the pocket in front of you, because we can never bless our gifts enough. So I invite you now to take your gifts and hold them in your hands and bless them with the words of our offering blessing. Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I give and all that I receive. Amen.
Our musicians will lead us into a time of meditation.
Spirit, by your love, I now rest in your eternal arms. Quietly I go within and hear. Be still and know that I am God.
I invite you to close your eyes and take slow, deep breaths, relaxing your whole body. Allow yourself to feel lighter and lighter and more expanded until you experience being so light that you feel and see yourself begin to float above your physical body. Imagine now that you are high above your body, hovering over the earth. You look down at the planet beneath you. You see a beautiful, shimmering blue sphere. You can see the oceans and continents and vast cloud formations below. You look more closely and see the mountains, forests, valleys, and cities. You see the billions of people and animals that all live interconnectedly on earth. You feel connected to all the life teeming beneath you. You feel you are part of a bigger design. You put your attention on the question, how am I being called to serve? You find yourself being drawn toward a place on the planet that holds a particular significance or fascination for you. You see a situation that moves you to serve. You may be shown someone, somewhere, or something that is familiar to you. Or it may be completely new. Be curious and adventurous. See where you land. The kind of surroundings you find yourself in, and what's there for you to do. You may receive one or multiple glimpses of the opportunities that await you. Be open in the quiet, in the stillness, in the sacred silence. And now, with deep gratitude for this time of quiet, coming back to this time and place, let us sing softly together, "Sweep over my soul."
Sweep over my soul, sweep over my soul. Sweep in grace and joy.
And so it is. Amen.